Okay, so get this. We are diving into spooky castles and ghost stories. And you know what makes it even better? It's Halloween.
And what's really cool is that our source material is this podcast I was listening to called Mystery Stories for Sleep. And they're like really leaning into the tech side of things this year.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
So they made this whole AI-enhanced virtual tour to go with our Halloween special. So like you get to experience these spooky castles as if you were actually there.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So we're basically getting a deep dive within a deep dive then.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, so first up we have, this one's really cool, Castle Hohenzollern.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I have. It's in Germany, right?
Yeah, it's in Germany. And it's got this really like picturesque setting, you know, like rolling hills and forests, but then bam, haunted.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about castles, isn't it? They just have that kind of vibe.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the history just seeps into the walls.
Exactly. And with Castle Hohenzollern, it's like you've got those amazing views, but then you hear about the White Lady.
The White Lady? Who's that?
She's this like ghostly figure that people say haunts the castle.
Oh no.
Yeah, and they say you can hear her sobbing in the corridors.
I would be so freaked out.
Right. It's like that fear of the unknown, especially in a place as old as a castle.
It's true though. It's like castles and ghost stories just go together.
Oh, totally. They're practically made for each other.
Okay, so moving on to a castle with a slightly more famous reputation.
Let me guess. Dracula's castle.
You got it. Bran Castle in Romania.
Classic.
Right.
It's like the big one. Everyone's heard of Dracula.
Exactly, even if the connection to Vlad the Impaler is, you know, debatable.
Yeah, there's definitely some debate there. But still, it's a good story.
Oh, for sure. And people have reported some really creepy stuff happening there too.
Like what?
Like unexplained footsteps, icy chills, even the rattling of chains.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Right. Makes you wonder if Vlad's still hanging around.
Maybe. Or maybe it's just our fascination with figures like him.
That's true. There's something about those dark historical figures that just draws us in.
It's like this weird mix of fear and fascination.
Yeah, like a good scary movie.
Exactly.
All right, are you ready for our next stop?
Hit me with it.
This one is said to be one of the most haunted places in the UK, Chillingham Castle.
Chillingham Castle.
Okay.
I've heard of this one. It's in England, right?
Yep, up north.
And it's known for being, well, really haunted.
Really haunted, like next level stuff.
So what's the story there? What makes it so haunted?
Well, for one, it's got a long and let's just say eventful history.
Like, what do you mean? Battles and stuff?
Oh yeah, lots of battles, especially during the Anglo-Scottish Wars,
Right, so it's seen its fair share of conflict.
to say the least. And with all that conflict comes, well, you know,
Ghosts.
ghosts.
Makes sense.
And not just any ghosts, we're talking about some pretty famous ones.
Oh yeah. Like who?
Like the Blue Boy.
The Blue Boy. Who's that?
So the story goes that he's this young boy who haunts the Pink Room.
The Pink Room. That's an interesting combination. Blue Boy, Pink Room.
Right. But yeah, people say they've seen flashes of blue light. And sometimes even a young boy.
That's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, it is. But it's like those stories, even if they're embellished over time, they become part of the castle's identity.
Yeah, that's true. It's like their own kind of history.
Exactly. All right, now let's hop on over to Austria, to Musham Castle.
Musham Castle. Okay. What's the deal with this one?
Well, this one has a particularly dark past.
Darker than the others.
You could say that this castle is infamous for its connection to the witch trials.
Oh, wow. The witch trials. That's a whole other level of scary.
I know, right? Just imagine the things that went on there.
It's hard to even fathom the accusations, the fear, and the countless lives lost.
It's a period of history that still sends chills down my spine, just thinking about what those accused individuals went through.
Yeah, it's definitely a haunting thought.
It makes you wonder, like, what would make someone accuse another person of witchcraft back then?
It's a complicated and tragic part of history for sure.
And it makes you think about, like, the nature of fear and how easily it can be manipulated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are human.
And what's crazy is that it wasn't just like one or two isolated incidents. The witch trials were huge. They swept across Europe.
Yeah, it wasn't just Austria. It was like this widespread fear and paranoia. People were quick to point fingers.
It's kind of a lot to think about, all that fear and suspicion. So maybe for our next stop, we should go somewhere a little less intense.
Okay, I'm game. Where to next?
How about Scotland?
Ooh, Scotland. Land of kilts and bagpipes.
And ghosts. We're going to Edinburgh Castle.
Edinburgh Castle. Now that's a classic. It's like one of the most iconic castles in the world.
Right. And you know what that means.
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Of course.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
Well played. But seriously, Edinburgh Castle is supposedly home to a whole bunch of spooky stories. But there's one in particular that always gets me.
Oh yeah. What's that?
The Phantom Drummer.
The Phantom Drummer. Okay. You have to give me some details on that one.
So people say they've heard like actual drum beats echoing through the halls of the castle.
No way. Like a full-on marching band.
Not quite a marching band, but definitely like a lone drummer just pounding away.
And nobody can figure out who it is or where it's coming from.
Nope, it's a mystery. And it's not just like a one-time thing either. People have been reporting this for centuries.
For centuries. Wow. That's some dedicated drumming.
Right. Makes you wonder who that drummer was and why they're still hanging around.
Maybe they just really love drumming.
Maybe. Or maybe they're stuck in some kind of time warp forever playing their ghostly beat.
Spooky. I like it.
Speaking of spooky, our final stop is probably the most haunted of them all.
Oh. And where would that be?
Leap Castle in Ireland.
Leap Castle. Never heard of it.
Well, get ready to be spooked, because this place is the real deal.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the lowdown.
So Leap Castle has this one feature that's just, well, it's the stuff of nightmares.
What is it? A torture chamber.
It's actually called the oubliette.
The oubliette. What in the world is an oubliette?
Basically, it's a pit, a hidden dungeon.
A pit. Like a hole in the ground.
Pretty much. But this isn't just any hole. It was used to imprison people. They would literally just throw them in there and forget about them.
Oh my God. That's awful.
I know, right?
So they would just leave them there to die.
Pretty much. It was a slow and horrible death.
That's just barbaric.
Yeah.
No wonder this place is considered one of the most haunted castles in the world.
Right. With a history like that, it's no wonder there are so many stories of hauntings and paranormal activity.
It's like the pain and suffering of all those people just seeped into the walls.
Exactly. And it's not just the oubliette people have reported all sorts of strange things happening at Leap Castle.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, people have seen shadowy figures lurking in the hallways.
Okay, creepy, but not too out there.
Right. But then there are the stories of objects moving on their own, unexplained noises.
Okay. That's getting a little weirder.
And then there are the more extreme stories. People being touched or pushed by unseen forces, feelings of intense dread and despair.
Okay, now that's just unsettling. It's like this castle is a magnet for all things dark and sinister.
That's one way to put it.
So we've gone from haunted drummers to hidden dungeons of death. Where do we even go from here?
I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a nice cup of tea and maybe a little sunshine.
I'm right there with you. A little dose of reality after all that spookiness sounds perfect.
You know what really gets me about all this? It's like these castles are more than just buildings. They're like time capsules, filled with all these stories and secrets.
Right. It's like every stone, every brick has a story to tell.
And what I find so cool is how that podcast we were talking about, Mystery Stories for Sleep, they're using AI to bring those stories to life.
Yeah. It's like they're creating these immersive experiences so you can practically feel the weight of history around you.
It's amazing what technology can do these days. It's like they're bridging the gap between the past and the present.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, what would those castles say if their walls could actually talk? What stories would they tell?
Oh man, that's a spooky thought. But it's like, there's a part of me that really wants to know.
Me too. It's like this thirst for knowledge,
Yeah.
you know? This desire to uncover the mysteries of the past.
Totally. And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's like we get to be history detectives, piecing together the clues, uncovering the secrets.
And sometimes those secrets are pretty terrifying.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the appeal. It's like we enjoy being scared as long as we know we're actually safe.
Exactly. Like watching a horror movie from the comfort of your own couch.
Yes. You get the thrill without the actual danger.
Exactly. And you know, it's funny because at the end of that podcast episode, they kind of leave us with this challenge.
Oh, yeah. What do they say?
They basically tell the listeners to keep exploring, to keep seeking out those haunted places and those spooky stories.
I like that. It's like a call to action.
Right. It's like they're saying, don't let the mystery die. Keep asking questions. Keep digging for answers.
I'm so down for that. But I'll be honest, I'm not sure I'd be brave enough to actually spend the night in one of those haunted castles.
Oh, man. Would you? I think I'd be too chickenery.
Right. Like, what if you actually saw a ghost? Or heard something go bump in the night?
Nope, I'm good.
I think I'd rather just learn about them from a safe distance.
Me too.
Yeah.
But hey, it's still fun to imagine, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it makes you think, what is it about these stories, these legends that capture our imagination so much?
I think it's the mystery, the
Yeah.
unknown. It's like a little glimpse into a world beyond our own.
Yeah, and it makes you realize that history, it's not just about dates and facts, it's about
Yeah.
people and stories. And sometimes those stories are best told in hushed tones around a campfire.
Flashlight under your chin.
Yeah,
For maximum spookiness.
exactly. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive before things get too creepy.
Sounds good to me. I'm all spooked out for one night.
Me too. But hey, who knows? Maybe we'll be brave enough to tackle another spooky topic next time.
We'll see. Until then, stay curious, everyone.
And sweet dreams.